Action. Hello. Welcome back to this week's Sunday School edition, and I'm Teacher Sarah. I'm very excited. I'm excited to be with you. I've missed you so much. And last week, Teacher Alice taught us on the Word of God. The Word of God. Say it with me. The Word of God. The Word is spelled W-O-R-D. W-O-R-D. The Word. Say it with me. W-O-R-D. Alright, and we read from Colossians 3, verse 16, and it reads, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." I'll read it again. "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your heart to the Lord." Singing with grace in your heart to the Lord. Alright, so last week we learned what the Word of God is, and we also learned how we can grow in the Word of God. I hope you know it. I can't hear you. We grow in the Word of God by reading the Bible every day. Today we're going to learn on what we use the Word of God for. What we use the Word of God for. Number one, we use the Word of God to teach. For teaching. When you want to teach a friend how to give, you use the Word of God. You want to teach a friend about the love of God. For God so loved the world, you use the Word. So we use the Word of God to teach. Secondly, number two, we use the Word of God to admonish, to give advice to our friends, to rebuke our friends. If your friend insults or steals or does something, use the Word of God to correct them. And correct yourself as well. Thirdly, we use the Word of God to create melodies, to create songs. I'm very excited. I love to sing to the Lord. Yes, so we use the Word of God to make melodies, to make songs for the Lord. So I'll just go through what I said. Number one, we use the Word of God to teach. We teach ourselves. We also teach our friends. We teach everybody. We meet at school. People we live with in the house, you teach them the Word of God. Secondly, you use the Word of God to correct or admonish. We correct ourselves, we correct our friends, and correct, yes, the people that need to be corrected. If someone does something wrong, the Word of God is used to help them do the right thing. Thirdly, I want you to guess it. I already mentioned it. I want you to say it with me. We use the Word of God to make music, to make songs for the Lord. I hope you're very excited. And this week, I want to leave with you a challenge, and it's called, "What would Jesus do?" What would Jesus do? Okay? So every time you want to say something, imagine that Jesus is seated with you. He's right next to you. Before you say it, would you be comfortable to say it if you knew that Jesus was right there with you? Before you shout at your friend, would Jesus be giving you a thumbs up? Would you just be liking and doing, "Yeah, go my baby, go my baby"? So imagine Jesus is with you every day. Because he is actually with you every day. He sees everything that you do. So our challenge for this week is, what is Jesus saying about what we say, how we treat others, and what we do? Okay, so I will go back and repeat what we use the word of God for. I first said we use it to teach. Secondly, we use it to admonish or correct others and ourselves. Thirdly, we use it to make melodies for God, to make songs, sing, and dance for the Lord. I'm very excited. And before we do the song, before we dance, and before we make melodies for the Lord, I want you to remind you on what we say the letters of the Bible mean. Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember? You don't? Good. I know you do, you do, you do. Alright, so the first B on the word Bible means best. Yes, the Bible is the best. It is the best. The I on the Bible means instruction. Best for B. I means instruction. The second B means book for. So we have best, we have instruction, we have book for. Letter L means living. Letter L means living. Letter E means eternally. So I'm going to run through all the letters of the Bible. The first B is best. The I is instruction. The second B is book for. L is living. E is eternally. Let's say it together. Best, instruction, book for, living eternally. Again, best, instruction, book for living eternally. Alright, yes, the Bible is the best instruction book for living eternally. And because I've missed you so much, I love you and I miss you so much.
So now we are going to sing the Bible song, which simply means
Best instruction book for living eternally. Bible. Bible.
Bible.
Bible.
That's the word for me. Stand upon the word of God. Bible.
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 That's the word for me. Stand upon the word of God. Bible.
Bible. Woo! Bible. Bible.
The word for me.
Word for me.
It's the word for you.
Word for you.
The word for me.
Word for me.
Bible.
Bible.
Word for me.
Word for me.
The word for you.
Word for you.
The word for me.
Word for me.
Bible.
Bible.
Do your Bible dance. Do your Bible dance. Do your Bible dance, child of God. Do your Bible dance. 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 Do your Bible dance, child Do your Bible dance. Do your Bible dance? Do your Bible dance, child of God? Do your Bible dance? Do your Bible dance? Bible.
Bible.